morning, everybody. This is the second part for Chapter 22, Lesson 1 on political parties. This is going to be a very short video. We're going to talk about how political parties help citizens. In the previous video, we looked at how political parties help government function, and now we're going to see what they offer to citizens who might not be actually involved in politics themselves, but they're trying to vote in an informed way and make sure that political parties and the government delivers on their end of the social contract bargain. These are our three main ideas. Political parties help citizens fulfill their responsibilities in our democracy. What are our responsibilities in a democracy? Well, I want to remind you back to the concept of the social contract, okay? Our most basic responsibility of being in a democracy is following the laws, okay? In the social contract, citizens give up some of their freedom, give up some of their rights, their free will, in exchange for protection from a government. The only way that the government can provide that protection, right, specifically through police services, is by making sure that citizens are doing their part in following the laws. However, when we get beyond just the basics of following the rules, gaining protection, there's all kinds of other responsibilities of a democracy. When I think about responsibilities, I think about voting, number one. We all have the responsibility and duty to make our voice heard and to actively participate in the shaping of our society through voting. I would also consider paying our taxes part of our responsibility in a democracy, as well as being informed. So, part of our curriculum in the 8th grade is to keep up with current events. Well, if you're going to actually make good decisions as a voter and you're going to be able to keep your government officials accountable to the promises that they've made you, you need to be aware of what's going on. You need to follow the news. So we're going to look at how political parties actually help citizens hold up their end of the bargain in a democracy. Parties also help citizens get their voices heard. We talked a little bit in the last presentation that alone, it might be hard to feel powerful in our huge society, but political parties can help citizens pull together their voices. Lastly, political parties help inform citizens, kind of similar to the first one, but also provide them for ways to participate in democracy. So I've got a little example here of a citizen using their voice in the government. Political parties provide a way for citizens to be heard. We're going to look at Edie Stevenson. She is in your book as an example. She was a county chairperson for her political party. So she wasn't an elected official, but she was somebody who was running the party in her local county. She said, look, when I accepted the job as county chair, few people in our county were aware of what the party even stood for. Remember, where do we know what a party stands for? Well, we talk about the platform. Okay, that was in our last slide segment. The platform is the list of policies and plans and beliefs that a party believes in. So Edie wrote short statements of their policies, such as topics such as education and the environment. Then we held a series of community meetings. So we're kind of seeing like a convention, but on a really small scale here. The people who came really spoke up about what was most important to them. We rewrote some of our statements based on what we heard and learned from the people's concerns. Our candidates discovered that the meetings were a good way to keep up on what people around here wanted from the government. So again, citizens' voices in government. Here we have Edie. She's organizing her political party, and she wants to hear from the citizens. Do you like what we believe in? It also gives a way for candidates to get more information from their voters. Edie's experience shows that even at the local level, parties give citizens a voice. In this example, she held the community forum, right? Citizens showed up. They didn't have to, pay a ticket at the door. They were just able to communicate directly with their representatives. When we look at the state and national levels, party members help hammer out the party platform, which we've talked about, debating and deciding on the issues. If you're still confused about a party platform, go back to the last video where I go into that much more in depth. The next responsibility, or the next job of the political parties, is informing citizens. They inform citizens by sending out mailings, and they give information to newspapers, radio, TV, and web-based reporters. Parties will provide quick responses to new issues so voters will know where the party stands. I'm thinking in terms of, when something might happen in our country where we're going to need a rapid response. Think about COVID-19, okay? No, even though, we were aware that there was always a potential for a deadly, fast spreading respiratory disease, until COVID-19 burst onto the scene, you wouldn't ever go to the Republicans or the Democrats and say, what's your position on the coronavirus? But political parties, as soon as things happen, they are able to come out with a plan nice and quickly and say, all right, if you're a Democratic voter, here's how the Democrats want to handle the situation. Or if you're considering supporting the Republican Party, here's what we will do in the coronavirus. So that's a way to inform citizens of, again, what it's coming down to is, well, here's what our people will do. Here's how our elected officials will vote on issues, is based on our platform. Parties can also arrange meetings with candidates. We watched some debates before. We've seen some town halls. Again, parties are that organizational framework that gets candidates in front of citizens. Members and volunteers also canvass. This is in yellow because it's a vocab word for us. They'll canvass or go door to door. Literally, they will literally walk door to door, and they'll hand out information asking people about which candidate they support. So you might, especially around election time, you might get a knock on your door and say, hey, I'm canvassing for Bernie Sanders, or I'm canvassing for Joe Biden, or I'm canvassing for Donald Trump. Here's what each of these people would do. Can I get your vote? And these volunteers will actually try to solicit votes. The goal here of canvassing is to provide information to citizens, to encourage them to vote for the candidates, right? If I know that this is this candidate's plan and I like that plan, well, now that I'm aware of it, I'm going to be more encouraged or excited to vote for that candidate. Another way that the parties help inform citizens is, like, the parties can kind of help simplify decision making. So you might go into a ballot booth and there's all these positions that you have to vote people in for. You might not know the people, right? You might be like, I don't recognize this name or so forth. But if you know that they're a Republican or you know that they're a Democrat, as long as you have a general sense of what that party believes, you can feel more confident filling out that ballot form, because even if you might not know that individual person, you know what the party stands for. So you know what that person is going to, the perspective they're going to bring and the way that they're going to vote. So those are our main ways. I'm going to go back to this slide here. Right, 3 ways. Political parties help citizens by helping them fulfill their responsibilities in the democracy. They help citizens get their voices heard, and they also inform citizens, enabling them to make good voting decisions and provide ways for them to participate. All right, so what you guys are going to do next is you are going to start learning about how George Washington felt about political parties. Spoiler, he was not a fan. So you guys are all set to move on to that next part.